Hello viewers, welcome to my channel. This is Dr. Rafat, and in this video I'll be talking about the prenatal phase of development. Now each phase has its own characteristics which include the developmental tasks and the challenges associated with it. Now it is very important for social workers to understand this so that they can address the problems associated with this when they are working with individual clients. So let us now try to understand in detail what are these stages of development. So these stages have been broadly categorized as prenatal and postnatal. So this categorization has been given by Elizabeth Hurlock, and we will be discussing the developmental stages under these broad categories. So the prenatal stage starts from the conception till the birth of the child, and the postnatal starts from the birth of an individual and continues till old age till the death of an individual. Now these stages have been further divided into sub-stages for targeted studies. So before we move on to these sub-stages, let us now uh, uh, have an understanding about the characteristics of the prenatal period. So when we talk about characteristics of the prenatal period, it is the most important characteristics of the prenatal period is that the heredity, which is the foundation for later development, is fixed during this stage. So when we talk about heredity, the information which is carried on from one generation to the other, so that is fixed during this prenatal period. Now another very important feature of this stage is that the sex of an individual is also decided at this time, which is irreversible. That means external environment cannot change it. So once it is fixed, it is fixed. It is also very important to understand that the proportion of growth and development in the prenatal period is the highest. So when we talk about proportion, that is the rate of growth at the prenatal period and the rate of the growth at the postnatal period. So there is a vast difference between the growth of the rate. So it starts when we talk about prenatal period. The growth starts from a microscopic cell to a human being, and that takes place in 9 months. So it is estimated that the infant at birth is approximately 20 inches in length and 2 to 3 kgs in weight, and the weight increases 11 million times from the beginning. So that is very characteristic feature of the prenatal period, that the rate of the growth is very high. Now another feature of prenatal period is that if anything happens to hinder the fixed developmental pattern at this stage, it may result in handicap for the rest of their life. So any type of challenge or hazard, any injury or something, if it takes place in the prenatal period, it can show its effect in the later development, that is in the postnatal development also. So that is also very important to understand that some of the problems which may erupt in the postnatal period may have its root in the prenatal period. Another very important aspect to be understood is that there can be psychological as well as physical hazards during this period. So when we talk about hazards, that is the challenges. So these challenges can be psychological as well as physical. So that is also very important to understand. So now let us have a look at the stages of the prenatal phase. So the prenatal phase is broadly categorized in 3 stages, that is the zygote phase, the embryo phase, and the fetus phase. So the zygote phase lasts from 0 to 2 weeks, and in this phase the uterine wall is formed and the zygote gets implanted to the placenta. The embryonic phase starts from 3 weeks and lasts till 2 months of inception. And in this embryonic phase, in this stage the development of limbs and other body features starts to takes place. And the third phase of this prenatal period is the fetus or the fetal phase. So, and this starts from 2 months till 2 months of the, till the from the end of 2 months till the birth of the child. So in this phase, the growth in size takes place and the body part starts becoming functional. And it is to be noted that by 7 months of pregnancy, the fetus is fully functional individual. So even if the birth takes place at 7 months, the infant is a fully functional individual. So these are the sub phases of the prenatal stage of an individual. I hope this is clear to you. So let us now move on to the challenges or the hazards which are associated with the prenatal. Earlier, the challenges or the hazards can be physical as well as psychological. So when we talk about physical hazards, the challenges in development may occur if mother contracts any kind of diseases like measles, etc., or if she suffers from malnutrition or she takes any intake of prohibited drugs during this time, then that may lead to some kind of physical challenge in the individual. So at the zygote stage, if the mother suffers from malnutrition, so due to starvation, if the proper nutrition is not given, then it leads to starvation, and this leads to the lack of uterine wall formation. So if the uterine wall is not formed, then implantation may take place in a wrong way. So the when the implantation takes in the wrong way, it may affect the growth of the infant. So at the embryonic stage, miscarriages is very likely after 10th week of conception, and which may affect there's also a possibility that during this stage, since the brain development starts, so because of any kind of physical injury, the brain development may also get affected. So these are the problems which may occur at the embryonic stage. So at the fetal stage, some of the challenges which may take place is that premature birth can takes place, and it is also possible that there can be some complications during the time of delivery. So because of these complications, this can also affect the development of the infant. So it means that after the birth of the child, if there has been some complications in the delivery, so it may have some physical impact or some physical weakness in the infant, which may later erupt in later life. For example, there might be some heart problem or some kind of physical problems. So that can be rooted to the problems during the problems which may take place because of the complication during the time of delivery. So apart from physical hazards, there are also psychological hazards which may take place, and these are very difficult to track, but it is a very important and sensitive issue which the social workers need to understand. So this psychological hazards has external roots, so it has an external impact. So and one of the major important reasons for this is the maternal stress. Maternal stress may lead to anxiety and hyperactivity in children. So at the time of pregnancy, if mother remains in anxiety, in a state of anxiety, so that may result in the child who is born, that child may be a hyperactive child, or the child may also suffer from anxiety, and which may result that the child is have adjustment problems in later life. Another very important point is that unfavorable attitude of the significant people. So in some cultures, the male and female children are given different preferences. So if there is a girl child in a particular culture where the girl child is not appreciated, a preference is given to a male child. So this kind of attitudinal problems can also lead to negligence or overprotection in the children. So that may also lead to some kind of maladjustment in the later life. So these are some of the psychological hazards which can take place during the prenatal phase, which the social workers has to take cognizance of and has to be very sensitive about it, and has to keep into consideration while working with the individuals. So these are some of the characteristics of the prenatal phase. So I hope you would have liked this video. If you have liked this video, we will be discussing further postnatal phase in the further videos. So thank you for watching.